Thanks for
How's it
joining.
going?
It's going good. Um, I'm super excited to finally get you on. I know we feel like we had talked honestly a couple years ago at this point when
I
we
know,
first
yeah. I was like, I feel like we
exchanged on
chatted a while
Instagram. Yeah.
ago.
Um,
Yeah. I
but
I was just playing 2K 24
ooh, you're jumping right
to
in.
prep.
Love it.
I was jumping around. Yeah.
I didn't know you were about that 2K life.
I'm about that 2K life. That's actually my only real uh in with any basketball right now in
Yeah.
current world. Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes that's enough. I I also love baseball, but I don't watch. It's just too much to watch sometimes, but I play fantasy baseball and I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
players are good because I do fantasy baseball.
Yeah, like I know players are good because they have a little rating on
Yeah,
2K and they play well
exactly.
when I yeah.
Sometimes though, those ratings can be deceiving because, they'll give a
Mhm.
99 to just about anyone, at least in like my team. Uh, but yeah,
I wonder who
so
team know.
yeah. Uh, but hey, so glad you're here. Thanks for joining. And I like the first thing I like to kind of pose to people as a little tip off question. I'm curious what you've been listening to lately.
Um, I mean, I've been listening to that Laura Marling song today,
Nice.
that new Laura Marling song.
Awesome.
Um, I've also been listening to, or I've recently stopped, but I've been listening to the Charlie XCX album.
Who hasn't? It's great.
It's so good,
You're living Brad
but I feel
Summer
like
right now,
I'm over it now. I'm done.
huh?
I think I've done it.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, Charlie XCX has been, I could do it in limited doses. Um,
Okay.
but Brad Summer is very, very large right now.
I basically like binged it, and then I feel like I'm like, I overdid it. I
Yeah.
like overate. Mhm.
Awesome. So one other thing too we like to do, I started this not too long ago, is every guest that comes on, I try having a recommendation for a song to add to this ongoing playlist. So every guest recommends
Okay.
a song, I add it to the playlist. And do you have anything you think you'd love people to hear? Anything you think
Yeah.
maybe an underrated artist? I don't know, something.
I just played a show with Merce Lemon the other day, and I love her song, Will You Do Me a Kindness?
Oh, cool. Very good. Yeah, I think I actually had we do monthly playlists for like, people on Patreon, and I did a Merce Lemon track on there a couple months ago.
Sick.
Good stuff. Yeah. That show also,
Very good.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that show was awesome too.
It was like Merce, me, Dougie Pool, Mount Erie.
Whoa,
And
whoa. That feels out of
yeah,
left
I
field.
know. I know. It was in like his hometown in the Pacific Northwest, like on this
Wow.
island. So it was very unique setting to see him in. Like I feel like I was
Sure.
really in his element. And he kept being like, this song is about living here. Like on a lot of songs.
Sure.
So that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it just lets the song speak.
Yeah.
Um
They're weird, but it's cool. It's definitely a thing.
yeah. So you had an album called Heart of the Artichoke. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful album. I enjoy it very much. Uh, and that came out a couple months ago. I guess how have things been, since it's coming out? I know you're going on tour soon, but is there anything you kind of want to talk about, like what went into kind of putting that record out and I guess writing the songs that went on it?
Yeah. Um, Putting the album together was really cool. We like recorded it upstate with my friends Babe Hoven,
Hmm.
and Ryan Albert specifically was producing it. And I just was able to have like the whole band and plus more friends come and collaborate and like stay in the house. And we had like really nice dinners and like bonfires, and it was very wholesome and really nice. We did it for like 10 days. Um, so that I think was sort of part of what I wanted to like be embedded into the sound of the album, which hopefully is in there somewhere.
Hmm.
And we did a lot of just like figuring out, some of the songs were totally done kind of like written wise, and then some of them were, I was like, I don't know, I mean, I've got like this, maybe we could do something with this. So it was really cool to have us all like in a room together to figure some things out, especially a song like Artichoke. I came in with like a chorus and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know how this is gonna be a song, but I want it to be.
Mhm. And then it's
Um,
the album track, the album
and then
title
it's the
track.
album. Yep. Because I felt like discovering that, I mean, honestly, when I was writing that song, I usually write songs very like structured, verse, chorus, verse, like
Hmm.
kind of not experimenting much, which probably will change, but I was like, I need to write verses, like this needs to be, properly written. And I think in discovering that it could be different and that the music itself could be kind of like the meat of the experience of the song, I felt like that was sort of the heart of the album,
Hmm.
while also being the heart of the artist. But it's like that there was like an unsaidness, like you don't need to say everything, like that there's kind of like the feeling underneath things. So
Cool.
that was a
Yeah,
cool
I
yeah.
do feel like you mentioned like it does feel very like an intimate record. Like you kind of it feels very warm, which makes me associate
Yeah.
with upstate New York.
Yeah. No, it was warm. It was
Yeah,
nice.
awesome. Yeah, and as I was listening to it in the past few weeks, and then also listening to the your previous record, Place to Land,
Mhm.
one thing I noticed is it feels like you let your vocals be a little more prominent in this one. Was
Yeah,
that a conscious effort, or was there something different you wanted to do?
that was conscious. I think I noticed that I wasn't letting it all out there
Hmm.
previously. And in the making of this album and in writing these songs, I was like kind of letting it go a little more in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, thanks for noticing.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
great. And then, so with this album out, I like to then go back further. I'm curious, what is your first band? Is
First
this your
band.
first band?
This is my first band.
Okay.
We had a different name and we had different songs, but
Mhm.
I mean, Alex and I have been in the same band since like 2017 or
Okay.
18. We just didn't make an album for a long time.
Sure.
We're just like figuring out what songs were good, what our sound was.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't have a band when I was younger, but I wrote songs and I like had, someone record my music, but it wasn't
Sure.
anything super so not no bands until 2018. This is my
Well,
first band.
what was starting Bloomsday like? I guess how did you guys start kind of making music together?
Well, I had a bunch of songs and I was like, I got to New York and I was like, I want to make a band.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who I wasn't even really close with. He was like a mutual friend. And I was like, he plays bass. And he like came into my coffee shop and I was like, oh, sick. There's this guy named Aiden Boardman. And Aiden and I started playing and he's like, oh, well, we could probably get a drummer somewhere. So then we like some friend of his who played as like a three-piece. And then
Mhm.
I was kind of like, this isn't really they were both like much older than me, and they were like, one of them ended up moving to Portland, Oregon. And I was like, this isn't really like a band. Okay, so I gotta like figure out who I'm gonna have in my band and they're gonna stick around. And I like was talking to Alex because he and I had become friends through like working in this coffee shop, and
Mhm.
his partner at the time was my coworker. Details. Anyway, I was like lamenting about how like I couldn't get a band together, and he was like, "Well, I can join your band." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he had just studied guitar in college, and he was like, "I'll play in your band, but I want to play drums." I was like, "Okay." So it was sort of this like hidden talent of his that he was like a ripping guitar player
Mhm.
until we recorded demos. Um, Aiden was still the bass player, me, Alex, and Aiden. And Alex was like, when we were recording, he was like, well, let me have a go at the guitar stuff. He was like playing the guitar really well, and I was like, okay, so you're the guitar player now. And then since then, Aiden has kind of moved on and stuff, but Alex and I were kind of like, all right, we're gonna like have this band and we're gonna
Sure.
record together. And he's just kind of been there with me in the band. And then Chris Daly joined about 3 years ago, and he's been in the band for a long time. So now we're just starting to cement. Drummers are hard.
Yeah,
I don't want to like be like, you have to, because it's like a relationship. You don't want to be like,
of
hey, like
course.
we gotta be monogamous. But I, hopefully I've got some like, if I think of it as polyamory, I've got like some partners in the drummers.
Yeah. Some people just like to drum around, you know?
They're just busy. They're
Yeah.
busy drumming around. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're cheating on me, but it's fine. Yeah,
I'm
we
friends
just
with a
started
bunch
out
of
just because of it. Sorry, yeah.
oh you good. I was just saying I'm friends with a bunch of people in the Chicago area and I feel like there's just so much overlap. It's just like,
I
you
got
know,
that. Yeah.
yeah, there's like people are in 3, 4 bands and like everyone is in like 3, 4 bands, but it's cool, but it's like I can't imagine the scheduling nightmare for practice and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what's good is once you're with the band for a while, we also have a guy named Isaac Stalling in our band now, who's on lap steel. Um, once you have enough, once you've like had a couple practices and everybody kind of knows and they played the shows, you can do like, one practice. It doesn't need to be like all the time.
Sure. Yeah. True. Uh, well, awesome. Yeah. And you are embarking on a tour soon, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going on tour with Molly Velasquez, a
Awesome.
co-headliner,
Yeah.
and um, it'll be a sort of beefy one, 3 weeks.
Hmm.
And I'm really a big fan of her music, and I'm excited to go on the tour. We're going full band mode.
Nice. Yeah.
So
And honest, hopefully when you come to Chicago, we can work something out to do that half court session finally. Let's
I'm
do it.
super down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm pretty good, honestly.
Okay. All right.
Like
So,
I honestly I have a story about
well,
I'll tell you.
we need to hear it because we're about to make that crossover and to talk some basketball. So,
Okay, cool.
do you play frequently?
No, but I did as a kid. It was like the one sport I really liked to play.
Mhm.
So I like had a hoop in the back. And my story was that in my grade school, we had this like competition called the South Mountain Minute, which my school is called South Mountain. And you
Okay.
had 1 minute at the free throw line, and you had like a bucket of basketballs, and you had a minute to throw as many like shots as you could, make as many shots as you could. And I won in third grade.
Free throw
I got
champ.
the most baskets. And first of all, you beat your grade, and then you beat all the other, like then you have like the championship superstars, and then
Sure.
the whole school comes to watch you. And then I won that. So I beat my grade, and then I beat the school. And
A
then
free
I
throw
got a
champ.
ticket, and then I got tickets to the like New Jersey Nets.
Oh, nice.
I got to go see them. It
That's
was
nothing to frown
like
upon. Yeah.
I kind of peaked. Like I was like running out into the like gym, like everyone's screaming my name. And I'm like, yeah, like when they like bring out the like, the people,
Sure, sure.
the ballers. Yeah, it was like that. It was
Were you
awesome.
like, I'm gonna play professional basketball, I think.
100%. And then I, stopped growing. I stopped growing at like 5'3", and I was like, maybe not.
Hey, that doesn't mean anything, you know. Muggsy Bogues is like 5 even,
There's
5'3".
definitely that's true. That's true. Well, but then those like notebooks, they'd be like, write your dreams down. Like there's definitely notebooks that I wrote, like, I want to be a professional basketball player and guitar player.
Yeah. No,
But
not I don't know many people who do both.
yeah, and it's not me.
No, it's
Couldn't do
okay.
it. It's okay. It's okay.
Um, so yeah, so growing up, were you a Nets fan?
I was a Nets fan. I like was tuned in only around that time. So it was like
Yeah.
2000. 2005 to 2009,
Jason
maybe.
Kidd era.
Jason Kidd era. He was my favorite
That
because
was
he was short.
honestly a good time because like they were pretty good at that time.
They were really good, and Jason Kidd was really good, and he like
Yeah,
made all the 3-pointers. He was my
he
favorite.
did. Yeah. And yeah, you had Jason Kidd, you had Kenyon Martin and
Yeah.
Richard Jefferson. I always loved Jason Kidd, do it like blowing the kiss at the free throw.
Sometimes I play with that team like on 2K now
Yeah, because
against
I
like
forget. Yeah, you could do the old teams. Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty like their peak era,
yeah.
you know,
I
like when they
mean,
were their best.
solid.
Because now
Yeah.
there's not
So
even a New Jersey Nets. Now it's like Brooklyn
yeah,
Nets, and
Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, they
they're
gentrified the
bad. Or
Nets.
yeah, they're really that's so messed up. Jersey deserves a team.
I saw a headline recently, which I cannot believe this would ever become a thing, but there's talks about New Jersey getting the 76ers, which makes no sense.
Ye-
They're kind of
I feel
like
like that's not
a
gonna go
huge
over
like
well.
historic team.
I feel like that's really not gonna go over well with Philly. That's like a bad call.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
I don't think
weird.
so. I don't think that's going to happen. I can't imagine the fans would allow it. I can't imagine like yeah,
No,
they're
no
just like
one's gonna be
one of the
happy about
oldest
that.
teams in the NBA.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
But I'm sure New
Well,
Jersey
we'll
does
see.
miss having a team.
Yeah, I mean the Nets. Like we don't need another team in New York.
Yeah, it's true. And
Whatever.
like a lot of New York teams like to just put their team in New Jersey and still call it uh New York.
True.
Like that's the move. But so you play 2K, and what mode are you usually playing on there? Are you just playing just regular exhibition games?
I don't do the like career thing. I
Mhm.
think it's more fun to just play because it's just fun to play. So I just do play
Yeah.
now and I'll match with
Yeah.
different teams. I know about Stephen Curry a bit because I went on tour with this guy Joe Van. He's like a huge Golden State Warriors fan. So he gave me the lowdown on that team. And I really like through that whole tour, we would sit before our gig and we would like be in a sports bar, like watching the Golden State Warriors.
So Joe is
So I started
literally
to
the
like
last
them.
guest.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh
my God. I love him.
yeah, he geeked out about the Warriors. He said he is like one of the biggest hoop heads out in the scene.
He's huge on it.
Yeah.
And he like to the point where you're like, this guy won't shut the fuck up about this. But it was like really endearing, you know. And I also started to like really like the Golden State Warriors just because like
Right.
I don't know if you're talking about it that much.
For sure.
He's like,
Yeah, he
listen, once Steph gets the ball, like there's no stopping Steph. Like they're friends.
yeah, he loves
So
the Warriors. He is it's like he's part of the team.
yeah, I mean he's watched them become, what they are now.
Yeah,
He's proud of
definitely.
that.
Yeah, he's a diehard.
Mhm.
Do you when's the last time I guess you played yourself?
I was gonna join a league actually. So it was like last last year, probably like last summer.
Okay.
But this
Nice.
year I was gonna join a league and then I've kind of had this like foot injury,
Oh,
so I can't do it.
oh
It's
no.
just like I'm not an athlete, you know.
I feel like there's a select group of musicians who have injuries prohibiting them from playing basketball because I had talked with Noah from Runner and he had that Achilles he had tore his Achilles playing basketball.
Okay, yeah. No,
And
it's not that, but it's plantar fasciitis and it's really bad.
oh, it's serious.
It
Yeah,
hurts.
it keeps NBA
Yeah,
players out of action. So
it's messed up. But so yeah, I love that exercise, the making the band out of the players thing.
yes.
Do you want
Uh,
to
before we get into that though,
okay.
uh, when's so you don't really watch much basketball at you just mostly your vessel is through 2K.
My vessel is 2K. I know about players, I know about teams, but I'm not keeping up with current Like, I'm curious who's doing really well.
Sure.
Yeah. The
Gotcha.
Celtics are probably doing well, right?
I mean, yeah, they won championship
They won.
this
I
past
know.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they and you're like, yeah, like around it.
I'm around it, and yet I don't make time to watch sports.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I don't think my partner would be so into that, you know? I mean, I could. Maybe you're inspiring me to just, why not?
Some people just,
My friend
they
got,
take that leap.
I think, you know what, it might be a little bit for me. It might be the team thing because, like, people in the scene talk about basketball, they make like fantasy teams and stuff,
Yeah.
but they also like have their team. And I think I feel a little conflicted about who my team is because I grew up with the Nets and I
It's
do live in
fair.
Brooklyn now, but they're like bad. And I don't really want to like back a bad
Fair.
team. Like I really respect those people that back their bad team.
Yeah.
But if I'm just entering in, I mean, are the Knicks any good right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can join the next season. They got Jalen Brunson and he's good.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I've played with him.
Yeah.
Okay. But I also like, how do you feel about when who's your team, I guess? Are you Chicago
I'm a
Bulls?
Bulls fan, yeah. So like it's very conflicting because it's like obviously we had Michael Jordan, we had Derrick Rose. But like since that, like it has been awful and just the ownership just ruins his team. And I have talked about it way too much on this podcast and I just like can't
Oh wow.
anymore.
Oh
Uh
wow.
it's a
So do
miserable
you feel really
experience.
sad? Do you feel sad when like players you like get traded or like, you know, you're not getting the players you want?
I mean, yeah, like I don't think the Bulls ever get in contention for getting the players I would actually really want. And then when it comes to keeping the players, it's just hard because like they never are able to build players around the players I like. Um, you know, I
Okay.
really like what Kobe White did this past year. And he really got really good. I don't know what they're going to do with this team in the next year. I'm one of those
Mm,
people who's like I either want you to like go all in, invest so much in players and build a huge team, or just like tank and just be awful for a couple years and draft young players. I don't
mm,
the Bulls stick in this middle ground and it's just tough because it's like they give you a little bit of hope, just like oh like we're in the play-in tournament and they're the first round exit. It's just they're not
mm,
good enough,
mm.
but they're not bad enough either.
You're not like, yeah, it's not like you're just totally
Yeah,
cool.
I'd rather be awful. So
Why?
because then at least that it's like all right, we're just we're gonna settle in for a couple years, get some really talented like people in the draft, and then just build from there.
So you're saying like with rookies, they would build it up from that?
Yeah,
They would get
because
like one.
you'd hopefully, I mean, ideally, you would get one of the top 3 to 5 picks in the draft, and you can get some good players that way
Hmm.
for the
Well,
future. Yeah.
maybe they'll hear you on this podcast and take some advice.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll finally
Um,
learn.
right. Yeah. But you mentioned like not having a team. I do think that is a great thing about the NBA, and that a lot of people don't follow teams; they follow players. Like
Mm,
people are
mm.
LeBron fans; they'll follow him wherever team he goes to, and I don't have an issue with that. I think that's actually pretty awesome.
That is cool.
So,
Because I do know, like, I remember playing 2K years ago,
mhm.
and like Porzingis was on Mavericks, I think.
Yeah, a couple years ago, yeah, he's in the Celtics now.
Yeah, and now he's on the Celtics. And I'm not saying I'm like some big Porzingis fan, but he's huge, so I just like remember him because
Uh-huh.
he's like super large. Um, and then yeah, other players, I guess like LeBron is a good example of like just
But
moving a
that
lot of
that
teams.
time is winding down for LeBron, unfortunately.
How old is he now?
Uh 39, and
Yeah. Whoa.
I think he's got 1 maybe 2 years left.
I mean, that's like when are they usually retire?
Yeah, I mean, people have probably retired by I think Vince Carter is the person who's played in the NBA the longest, and he retired like 5 years ago. Um, Yeah,
like
I
40
think
soon.
he's playing the NBA with his son now, so that's pretty crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
it'll be a new era. It'll be interesting. But yeah, you could pick a player. Maybe
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I
you
pick a
could
player.
you could follow Jason Kidd, your childhood player who is coaching the Mavs.
Where is he? No way.
Yeah. And okay,
It's weird.
I think you're gonna be a Mavs fan because Luka Doncic is
I
also
can't believe you're
really good.
saying that. Okay, the reason I'm saying I'm so surprised is just like I sort of feel like shame about liking the Mavericks because I play as the Mavericks very often.
Luka's
And
awesome.
I feel a lot of shame because I'm like from Jersey and I don't know, I was raised to think like Dallas teams were like bad. But now that I know
That's
that Jason
Cowboys
Kidd is
propaganda, yeah.
coaching, yeah, I mean it's just like, I was just raised and
Right.
I probably just picked that up as a kid and I was like,
Yeah.
Dallas is bad, you know? But now that I know Jason Kidd is doing it, I'm like, oh my God, because Doncic is like amazing. I like
Yeah.
love playing with that team. Okay.
We
I
might be
might
onto
be
something.
into them. You might be onto something. But it'll be
All
really
right.
taboo for me to tell my family that I'm like a Mavericks fan.
It's okay.
Like my
They'll
uncles will be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
they'll forgive you. I mean, who is your family rooting for?
Um, Traditionally they're split. I mean, they're Eagles fans for football.
Hmm.
They are Mets fans for baseball. Baseball, I don't know who they are for basketball. I'll have to ask.
Maybe they've just followed the Nets to Brooklyn.
It's either the Phillies or because my grandpa was born in Philly, so that was his teams were Philly
Got it.
teams, but then they were all raised in Brooklyn. So, there's a split, New York and
Okay.
Philly. It's
So probably
possible
either
that it's Sixers.
Sixers
Yeah,
or Nets. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, maybe you're a Mavs fan. Who knows?
I can't believe you said that. I'm like, I'm really shocked, but it makes sense.
Opened your eyes a little bit, yeah. Um,
I'm drawn to the Mavericks, but they
yeah,
have so much money for their teams in Dallas. It's
true.
crazy.
So,
Yeah.
as you mentioned before, we like to do like a little kind of game on here. And what I kind of asked you to kind of think on was we call it build a band. The idea is just make a band out of NBA players. Who is playing what instruments? Um, what do they sound like? Like, what's the vibe? Just like paint a picture for us, and curious to hear what your band is.
I don't know if I really thought of vibe, but I can do it now. But I got the players.
Okay,
Okay, so I've already mentioned all of these people, but I got Porzingis on the bass. I
totally.
got Jason Kidd on the drums.
Okay,
I just think it's fun that he's like bald and like he could be kind of like crazy on the drums,
sure,
And like Stephen Curry is the lead singer because I feel like he's got that like star quality.
totally.
And then LeBron James is the lead guitarist.
Okay,
I
sick.
think of this band as like a soul vibe, but with like funk and like rock elements.
Well, like Krongbin or something.
Maybe with like I want Steph to be like singing it out.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Is Steph playing guitar
What's
as well,
that?
or is he just lead singer?
I think just singing.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotta focus. Yeah. Okay.
I just
I
love the idea of a really tall bassist.
Oh, totally. I mean, because he's got the wingspan to like play the bass really low.
Yeah, solo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Jason
And this
Kidd on the
like
drums is
little.
unexpected for me.
What do you think he would do?
I mean, point guards, I would assume usually they're at the front, they're playing, they're singing, but you have Steph too. So, but I do like having Jason Kidd. If we wanted to pivot like with him coaching now, I feel like that does make sense. Then I feel like a drummer is, kind of like the coach, the manager a little bit. They're keeping the
Yeah, they're kind of like
structure.
running it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
So
everyone's following their real lead.
yeah,
And also Jason, I feel like I don't know, Steph is so like flashy,
totally.
and like LeBron is so flashy. I just feel
Yeah.
like they're more like lead.
they're
I
getting the
never thought
attention.
of Jason Kidd as very like I don't know because I was very young, but I just thought of him as more like humble.
Yeah. And I could totally see a situation where, at the start of the set, he does that free throw, like he blows the kiss and then he clicks the sticks and they're
Yeah.
going.
Exactly. And then
That's
they're
his
like, oh,
thing.
I love the drummer of that
Yeah.
band.
Yeah. He gets
Yeah.
some devoted
Like if
fans
you're ahead,
specifically.
you're like actually
Yeah.
he's the one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason Kidd is my favorite drummer for sure.
It's like Ringo Starr, he's like small
Yeah.
and like there's like something special about him.
Cult
But
following.
yeah, cult following, exactly.
Love it. Well, excellent band. Love to hear it.
Thank you. I think they'd be
Um,
good.
it's been super great talking hoops and music with you. As the last question, I guess, before we go is like, has there been, as you've toured or you've played music, has there been any instances where music and basketball have like crossed over?
I mean, when me and Joe played some
Yeah.
ball, we played.
Is he
We
good?
played. He's so good. He's so tall. He's huge. But
Awesome.
he like, he I wasn't like backing down. Like I
Right.
tried to play and I made some moves. I challenged.
Yeah.
We were a good team, but when we played against each other, I was like really annoyed because he was really tall and good.
Hmm.
He does this thing where he like misses every shot, but then he'll like start making them and then he can make it from anywhere. Like
He's
the
got he's
minute
got
he
to
has to
he's got to warm
ball,
up.
yeah, he literally is like so bad. It's like Hustler. Like he's so bad for like 10 minutes and he's like, oh man, I'm so bad. And then he just starts making them and then he never stops.
That's how he gets you.
That's when it really crossed over. I feel like that tour was a time when basketball played a big role in my tour. I
Awesome.
talked about it. I played it. I think I might have told him about you, honestly. I think I
Well,
did. I was like, you got to talk to this person.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you come to Chicago, we'll put up some shots.
Okay. I'll warm up.
Sick.
Make
Awesome.
sure I'm really ready. And maybe, wait, can you just let me know when the season is?
When the
When does
NBA
like
season
basketball season?
starts, yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually going to start, I believe, like right after your tour ends.
Okay. So October.
Yes. Usually
Okay.
starts like mid-October.
Is there like a preseason that you watch or you have to wait?
Well, right now, I mean, we got the Olympics, which is pretty cool.
Totally. And Steph is in it.
Steph is in it. LeBron is in it. It's gonna be their
Ron is
last
in it.
one, and
Oh,
because changing of the guards, we got the young guys coming in. But
crazy.
it's yeah, Olympics fun to watch. Eh, Basketball and NBA never stops because well, one WNBA has been going and love the WNBA as well. Um, that's been awesome to watch. But then summer league happened. Like once the finals is over, and it's like all right, we have the draft, we have summer league, and then we got the Olympics, and then it's preseason. It just never stops. It's just always something
Do you
going on.
follow the
So
college stuff too?
not that much. Obviously when March Madness rolls around, I'll pay attention. But
Okay.
mostly I'm following college to know who's going to be good in the NBA.
Who's coming
Like,
up? Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I thought.
who's going in the draft for sure.
Cool.
But yeah. So thanks again for coming on. It's been great talking.
Yeah, you too.
And
But
we'll set something up for when you roll through Chicago.
I can't wait. I'm excited.
Awesome.